Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. Look at that.
Yes. And as you can hear, Kneon is we're both still sick, but he sounds pretty bad. So I will do most of the talking on this one.
Yeah, she's going to be running this. I'm not fully aware of what's going on other than Disney being accused of price gouging again.
Yeah, so apparently, according to the Wall Street Journal, there's a new article, and we're going to take a look at it. According to the article, they talk to different people who have gone to Disney, and what's going on is people are feeling like they're being priced out. So even people who are longtime theme park goers are starting to not go because the prices are getting out of control. Of course, Disney will then turn around and say, well, that's not really true, and all this other stuff. We're going to look at the article. It's ridiculous, the gaslighting that they try to do. But the attendance is down, but the spending's up because they keep gouging people. And that's the problem. And now internally, allegedly, people are starting to be concerned because they're like, oh crap, people aren't coming anymore.
Yeah, and they should be concerned. I mean, especially with, Epic Universe, I think factors into it somewhat, but beyond that, just the expense of going to Disney is it's astronomical. And the value proposition is not good, because they keep taking things away. They keep upcharging for things that used to be free. They're definitely cutting corners on attractions. They're getting rid of favorite attractions, and the wheels are kind of coming off the bus.
They are.
So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Check out clownfishminus.com for clownfish merchandise and our Plus Club. And so Geeky is going to run this one. Walk me through what is going on.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to go out to the original article because there's a lot more in it than what I have included. So basically, people are just over it. So they said that they're talking, they start off with this one person who, took a trip. They said that 2 days of park tickets cost $1,123. Wow. And they had to pay $208 for the lightning lane, the skip the line, basically, which is the regular line now. They did a character meal and stuff, but it ended up being like 2 bubble wands, $60. It ended up being like $3,000. She's not planning on going back. Okay, so they're saying that the prices keep getting ridiculous. The 1-day adult passes at Disneyland were $206 at the highest point. Disney keeps trying to do this thing where they're like, but our lowest price ticket stayed the same. Yeah, but you might have had like 30 days at that price. Now you might have 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That was kind of the beginning of the end of Disney being somewhat affordable, was the whole flexible ticket pricing thing. When that kicked in, where it was like, oh yeah, we just kind of randomly adjust the price of the tickets depending on where we think the demand is going to be, not seasonality or not, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It used to be like you could budget a Disney trip because you knew that, well, tickets are, back in the day, $75, $89 a person, whatever. And then it got, crept up to, people were freaking out because it was like, oh my God, it's over $100 a person on average. Now they're like, oh yeah, now they can go up to $200.
What they'll do is they'll say, okay, our highest price tickets are like, our lowest price is $99, for example, and our highest price is like $200. And then what they'll do is, what they don't tell you is, now you have like only a couple days at $99, and most of the days that were even in the middle are now closer to $200. So like, we didn't change anything, but you did, because you still made them more and more to the top end. And that's what they keep doing. They said some inside of Disney worry that the company has become addicted to price hikes and has reached the limits of what middle-class Americans can afford. According to people who have worked in the park pricing, internal discussions over whether Disney parks may be losing their grip on the hearts and wallets of families and young kids have become more frequent, some of these people have said. So inside the company, they're saying, hey, it's getting out of control. All right.
I can believe that. Now, this is coming from the Wall Street Journal, right? So this isn't some like rando blog. This is the Wall Street Journal.
So they said that
they're having problems. Yeah.
Yes. And they said that late 2023, the company's own surveys, when they surveyed guests, Disney World, Disneyland, found a number of them planning to return had taken a sharp, downturn. They said that the domestic parks attendance increased 1% in the fiscal year ending in September, down from a prior year's growth of 6%. But what they're doing is, per person spending on stuff is up to like 4% for the last quarter. So what they're doing is you have fewer guests, so you bilk the ones you have left to the place that it is, they are offsetting the costs. And you have to understand too, this now representing 70% of Disney's overall operating income in 2023 or the parks. That's twice as much as it was in 2018. It was 34.5% was the operating income from the parks in 2018. Now 70% of it is coming from fleecing people at the parks.
And I would say, you would think they'd want to be better stewards of the parks given how important they are. And I don't think people realize how important the parks are, or they haven't until recently, because it used to be that, like, even if their movies were not doing well, the parks always picked up the slack a little bit, right? And now they're like, they have Disney Plus, they have the parks, but they spend a lot of money on Disney Plus. Their linear cable business is basically dead at this point. And it's just like, and the movies haven't been huge hits. I mean, so they've had a couple this year, but yeah.
In 2023, 70% of the operating income came from the parks because, and so that's why they keep gouging more and more. And that was after they already started gouging, but they just keep digging in deeper, deeper, deeper. And it's a running joke because they keep raising things like food or whatever to try to get you. So they said that for a 2-parent family with 2 young kids and a 4-day visit to Walt Disney World, including a stay at a value-priced hotel at Disney-owned, will cost you $4,266 last year, according to touring plans, which are very reliable. They said that cost, was before food and transportation, but it's up almost $1,000 because it was $3,230 5 years earlier. All right. Wow. And it's mostly, and they said it's 80% of the new costs came from these stupid add-ons that they keep making it. And they're like, I was like, well, you don't need it. This is what Disney said. Disney, because they have to gaslight you because they can't just admit, maybe we have a problem here. Maybe it's us. Maybe we're out of control. No, we have to gaslight the audience. Disney said touring plans numbers for the cost of a typical 4-day visit were exaggerated. That's about right. I mean, they're saying it's not, but it is, because that's if you have parents and kids and tickets, and they're like, no, that's exaggerated. They didn't, and then this is their excuse. Ready? You ready for this one? They didn't take into account the range of value options available. There's no value anything at Disney. A 4-day trip for a family of 4 in the fall would be as little as $3,000 before food and transportation costs.
Before food and transportation costs.
Their argument
used to be the whole trip.
Right. But their argument is, well, if you go in the fall, it's cheaper. That's Disney's argument, okay? And then they said, you don't need Lightning Lane passes to have a great time. So they're admitting that the $3,000 is before Lightning Lane passes. The number they gave you, that $4,200, that's with Lightning Lane passes.
So this reminds me of, remember a few years ago, McDonald's put that flyer out about how to make a living at McDonald's, and basically making a living at McDonald's required you had a second job.
Yeah, and welfare.
And that's how you got by working at McDonald's. That's what this reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. They get another doozy in there later, but that's not simply not true, guys. We didn't put the Lightning Lane passes in our total, which would probably jack it up several $100s. But if you go in the fall, it's cheaper, and you don't need Lightning Lane passes, except you do. I went out here in an article I did on piratesandprincesses.net, and I brought up the fact that that's not the case. There's another article that was out there, and I think it was Blog Mickey, and it was saying that we're talking about how Lightning Lane, it's basically now to the place you have to use it, and Disney has made it that way because they want the money, right? So how it used to be with FastPass Plus was you get each person would get 3 a day of the FastPass Plus. And what you would do is if you didn't have FastPass Plus, you're in the standby line. And they used to let 20 people in the FastPass Plus lane through for every 4 or 5 people in the standby line. So it was a wait, but it wasn't so bad. The problem is now with the Lightning Lane, because they want to make it so unbearable for you that you buy it. The Lightning Lane lines are what the standby lines used to be. They are incredibly long. Yeah. Except if you're in the standby line, you might as well effing forget it. You're not getting on the ride for a long time. They are saying that there's 3 tiers now on the Lightning Lane. On a slow day, it might be 4 to 1. 4 Lightning Lane guests for every 1 standby lane. But they can go up to 10 to 1. So if you let 10 people from the standby line in, you're letting 100 people or more from the lightning lane line into the ride. So that's how they're moving the lines, because the lightning lane line keeps moving, but the standby doesn't. So yes, if you're going to be sitting there for hours, all right, you're going to be sitting there forever until you get a damn turn. And they're like, on days it's busy, but they deliberately make it that these attractions are bottlenecked. They said in the article, it can be a total anywhere between 80 and 93% of capacity for an attraction is devoted to lightning lane. So tell me how you don't need the fucking lightning lane to have a good time, Disney, to get on the attractions, Disney. You said good time, not actually be able to ride shit. Literally, they're having you pay to come in and buy food and souvenirs because you can't get on any rides unless you pay them more.
Yeah, this is a complete 180 from what Walt wanted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, which they mentioned on here.
It's disgusting.
So then they said about that. Then they said, they go down here, talk about how it's out of reach for many people. Continual price increases have been core to Disney Park strategy for decades. And it's, the eternal debate. But they're talking about how, parking used to be $1 a day, and people, were mad about Eisner trying to raise it to $3, and now it's $30 a day. Here's the chart. Annual vacation budget for families by income and typical spending for 2-day Disney Park. Starting budget, the rich, $8,000 a day. Expenses.
A day?
Yeah, expenses, premium passes, multi-passes, fast food, table service dinner, character meal, hotel parking and park admission. For the bottom 20%, you have $646 to work with a day. And then it goes up to more, the middle caps out at $2,200, but the top 20% go up to like $8,000 a day.
If you look at the cost of, I think I pulled that up in another tab, the inflation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go down here, they have a nice little chart. I think this was last year, but you can see how ridiculous the prices have become at Disney. And I mean, I know when I first started going to Disneyland when I was a kid, now we're talking late 80s, early 90s, but it was like $25 a ticket. And back then my parents were screaming about that.
Yeah. Well, look here, park low end has increased in 10 years, 21%. But again, they keep arguing, well, we kept the bottom price the same, but you only offer that for a few days.
Right, like what was it on the Daffy Duck cartoon with the insurance, the Porky Pig, where it's like on a Thursday afternoon, when it's rain. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but it's like very very small window, a very small window that you can buy the cheapest tickets.
But in comparison, the high end priced park ticket has gone up 91%. 91%
since 2014.
Right, far outpacing inflation. Mickey Waffles, 30%. Actual inflation is 32%. So technically the low-end ticket and Mickey Waffles have stayed under inflation, but they keep limiting the park tickets on that. But then Mickey Pretzels, 42%. Fish and chips is 50% more. A churro, 54% more. Dole Whip, 58% more. Ice cream bar, 63%. Corn dog nuggets, 116%, and Santa bread service, 120%. It used to be $10, now it's $22.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know people were really complaining about that because they used to have like really affordable snack options in the park. And then as soon as they became like Instagrammable food, the prices started going up.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous. So they're saying, the touring plans, and which I would believe touring plans over Disney.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You could just kiss my ass. Disney says that the theme parks are within financial reach for middle-class families. Like you said, is this going to be a thing where if you're on welfare and have 2 jobs, it offers a range of price offerings for different products as well as year-round promotions. No, it's not, dude. It's not. Even your cheapest, it's not.
Yeah, when your own cast members probably can't afford to go to Disney unless they were getting it for free. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where we're at with it.
Here's Disney manipulating you. Ready? Here's the Disney manipulation. Here's what Disney said in regard to no one can afford it. The number one thing we hear from our millions of guests who visit our park each year is how much a Disney vacation means to them. And we intentionally offer a wide variety of ticket, hotel, and dining options to welcome as many families as possible, whatever their budget. You can't. This is what Josh D'Amaro said. He said it also know that the inflationary times is especially important to give families ways to save on their visits. But you don't. You're like 30% off a hotel room or something stupid, and it's like you're free dining or something ridiculous that's not going to really do much.
Yeah.
It's still overpriced to begin with, and we'll give you a discount on the overpriced. It's already too overpriced. I'm
going to be honest. They don't want poor people there because poor people aren't going to spend the money on all the upcharges. They're just going to take up space, and they're not going to spend money on the upcharges.
And they want it to be a better trip for the rich people, so they spend more. Another guy who lives in Brooklyn, they grew up going to Disney. He took his grandson about every other year, and he said it's the connection to the old world. You have fun and you don't worry about anything. And he's basically to a point where he's just like, the cost value is just out of order and not worth it anymore.
Yes, that was even the last time we went. I personally felt that it was getting to a place where it's like, what we're paying versus what we're getting out of it. Is it even worth it? Because before I used to be able to justify it because I was like, well, we get a lot of value as a family going and we get to do these things and we have a lot of these great moments or whatever. And, now I'm like, and I know it was expensive then, but it was like, God, it's a bargain compared to what it is now. And I'm like, I don't know if I feel that way. I don't see me taking the grandkids very often. I think it's just the amount of disrespect that Disney has for the families. Like they just don't care. They're talking about the things that they did. Like they got rid of the Magical Express, which they said only a third of people use that. I don't buy that unless they're driving in. They got rid of the Magical Express. They got rid of the Fast Pass system where you got free, front of line access. So you have to pay for it. I would say the DAS pass has been an issue because it used to be the people with disabilities that would qualify would get the DAS passes. So it would limit your wait time in line. A lot of times you go do something else and come back when it was your turn. So you still had to wait the same time as everybody else, but then you got to go to the front of the line. So people who could not stand in line for physical reasons did not have to. They changed the DAS pass and their criteria for who gets it and who isn't is ridiculous. And their answer to that was, well, you could buy the Lightning Lane. Was Genie Plus at the time. You could buy that. So this whole thing was just another ploy. Many are arguing to sell more Lightning Lane access passes to the people that would normally get the disability because they said that was because that was abusing the system. No, it wasn't abusing the system. It was they were losing money. Yeah. And this way they can gouge the disabled on top of everything else. And they said the Genie Plus, which is the Lightning Lane now, generated more than $424 million in pre-tax revenue between October 2021 and June 2024. And that was we got from the leak when the hackers leaked the system. They're almost at $1 billion. And by now, I'm sure it's billion because they added the Premier Pass, which is even more money. Well, that's why people think they're filling in the rivers of America and put cars in because that's another Lightning Lane attraction.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So they're talking about, well, we've given them discounted parking and more off-season lower ticket prices. No, bullshit. But they're talking about, how they're growing and stuff. It was interesting to me when we get down to this one part. They did a survey. Here it is. Harris Poll for Wall Street Journal did a survey, right? They asked 2,000 households, U.S. households, about how the affordability and how unaffordable it is for Disney. Survey found that 74% of respondents believe that experiences like cruises, amusement parks, and visits to Disney resorts have become financially out of reach. The poll indicated that lower-priced, nature-focused vacations are gaining popularity on the pricier resort theme park type trips. To which Disney answered that survey was flawed and misleading and unfairly cast Disney in a negative light. That was what Disney said.
Oh, Disney always says they're being smeared by the media. Right.
Not maybe it's us. Maybe, maybe we are out of touch. Maybe we're just being ridiculous. Yeah. No. It's unfair. But they do mention that they said they talk about the Lending Tree survey. 45% of those who visited Disney resorts with children went into debt. Mm. And then in the fall, Disney said their own visit surveys out to people at the Disney Vacation Club. That's a timeshare where you buy in and you have to have money to do it.
So the most hardcore Disney fans, we sent a survey out to the most hardcore Disney fans.
But one of the questions they asked people were how likely how likely are you to be receiving or managing an inheritance in the near future? That's what they sent out. They are so fucking out of touch. They asked the DVC people if they were going to be if it was likely that they'd be receiving or managing an inheritance in the near future for more money, so they could shake you down.
I'm sitting there thinking like, hey, you got crypto, bro? You got some Bitcoin you want to get rid of? We're going to start taking Bitcoin and Ethereum here at Disney just to.
Isn't this absolutely ridiculous? This is followed by a person who literally used an inheritance money to go to Disney because they wanted to take their kids, couldn't afford it. They drove, they took a cooler, they used food, they brought their own food, trying to keep the prices down. So they paid for everything: 4-day park passes, line skipping add-ons, one restaurant meal a day, and accommodations for 2 parents and 2 kids, 9 through 7. So that's still considered child. Was nearly $6,000 because it was at Christmas time.
Yeah, I can believe it. And what the reason they're talking numbers and they're looking at this objectively is this is the Wall Street Journal. And again, this isn't some random blog like Disney's too expensive. Like Disney's always been expensive. It's just the point where it's absolutely ridiculous.
They've gotten worse because they said that they feel like they're able to keep sneaking it in because nothing else is holding it up. They are making all this record profit. Who benefits? Who gets good bonuses?
Yeah, right.
Based on that, So like people in the comments, 960 comments on this. Okay, 960. Here's some of the comments. County fairs can be a lot of fun. I've never been to Disney World, so I don't have the attachment some people have, but because of the cost, my wife and I took 3 kids to Germany, the Netherlands, and Belgium in November, December for 3 weeks. All included airfare, food, souvenirs, $8,000. Castles, German Christmas market, etc. $8,000 is a lot of money. We feel we got much more than if we went to Disney.
Yeah, you can actually, again, you can go to real Europe for the same or less price as going to Epcot for a lot of people.
Yeah, they said, Mies thinks there's an opportunity here for a clever business person to make real money by meeting a demand for affordable experiences for families. Stuff like that. We're talking about going to Disney was a tradition, that we traveled a few times a year to Disney. Turns out, being a Florida resident, there aren't benefits unless staying for several days. Yeah, a lot of people drop their annual passes. They said you could spend half a day, 55 minutes to get on a 2-minute ride because you have the lightning lanes.
Yeah.
But Disney said you can have fun without them.
No, you basically can show up in the park and get your damn Mickey pretzel and just sit there and watch the ducks or something.
Yeah, I know. Right here, sitting. Meanwhile, the CEOs Bob Iger and Bob Chapek were basically just pushing woke politics. Walt is turning in his grave. Yes.
Yeah, Walt would God, he'd hate what is happening now on so many levels. It's disgusting.
Yes, this is not what he wanted. He wanted a family park that was affordable for people.
This is Vegas, right? This is a trap. I mean, look, Disney's always been expensive, but I felt the value proposition was there. You paid more to go to a Disney park, but you got a better experience. Now you get a subpar experience compared to pretty much every other amusement park out there. They're not maintaining the rides. They're destroying beloved rides. They're, paving over the rivers of America. They're, it's ridiculous. And they're charging, 5 or 6 times more than you would pay anywhere else.
Here, I'm looking. We never went. My kids are done. My adult kids are fine. Yeah, they quoted this on Inside Disney where the company's become addicted to price hikes. They're always looking for quick buck. Little do they realize the entire generation of children won't go to Disneyland. And they have I think that's what's going to happen. But listen, here they bring up some. Subsequently, that means there's no emotional connection to Mickey, Minnie, Donald. There's no interest in Disney product line. And there's increased competition from other places. So where they go is where they're going to what they're going to like. So they're going to play video games and things they can afford. Fast forward to Epic Universe, which is now going to have the video games and things like that they recognize more than Mickey, Donald, Minnie, etc.
That's the thing. There isn't another generation of Disney addicts. Like the chain has been broken, right? Because Disney was an American staple for generations. You're not going to have little kids begging their parents to go to Disney World like we did, or Disneyland. It's going to be, can we go to Nintendo? Can we go to, literally, can we go do anything else besides go see Mickey Mouse? Because I don't even care. Like, is Mickey Mouse, like, I could totally see kids being like, is Mickey Mouse even like a cart? What is Mickey Mouse? Is he just in the park? Was he ever in a movie? Was he, because it's been so long since, he was in Fantasia and they had a couple of Mickey things here and there. And then they had the more recent animated series, but like, I don't think he's going to resonate with kids today.
Disney Channel used to be a big thing, and it's not now. It's pretty much dead. And Disney Plus focuses on Marvel and Star Wars and other stuff more. I just don't see it. We can afford Disney vacations, but I would get the sickly feeling there, seeing families that must have saved all year and gone to debt for the kids' magic. It's no longer magical. All the changes I've seen just in the last. God, since we started covering, and I don't know if people were super familiar with our whole story here, but we used to cover Disney for a living. That was basically what we did.
And, we started the podcast, and I want to say it was like 2014-ish or so.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And just in that time, the change. So in a decade, a little over a decade, the change we've seen in Disney is just, it's just appalling. It's appalling.
They say Disney has long lost its way both morally and financially.
Yeah. And that's just like you can get away with either one of them, I think, to some degree, but it's a double whammy. I mean, they're giving a huge middle finger to families. They don't care. It's going to be their own detriment. I think once this generation of pixie dust millennials kind of blows through, because that's who they're pandering to, which it shows you a lot, because this is kind of where Hasbro's at too, where they know they don't have a lot of kids buying their products, so they start pandering to the adult collectors, but then they start, jacking the prices up on stuff to the point where it's ridiculous, but they know the hardcore adult collectors are going to keep buying it regardless. And that's Disney right now. They're not even really trying to get kids, I don't think, because they know they don't have the kids.
So there's that a touch. And instead of acknowledging, like maybe we are going too far, maybe we need to find a way to make it more affordable, to make it more accessible, because people cannot keep coming, and eventually you're just going to run out of audience. Yeah. Their answer is, nah, they'll pay it. They want it bad enough, they'll pay it. You can come at a cheaper time of year. We'll make excuses. We'll try to say it's because of this or that, the other. You don't need those lightning lane passes to ride rides, but you do. And we're going to sit there and gaslight the audience instead of actually maybe acknowledging our own shortcomings. And that's the Disney difference. You get less for more. And even the diehards are turning on Disney.
I've seen probably 2/3 of the Disney news media outlets, the ones that were our peers at one point in time, turn on Disney.
Yeah, we've ones that were crapping on us for turning on Disney are now starting to do it. It's like, welcome to the party. Yeah, we got cheaper cupcakes.
Yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting. And could Universal go down the same path? Oh, I think it could go to their head if they wind up taking a lot of.
Well, I'm worried they're going to. I mean, right as it is, they do have. Okay, people bring this up too. They're like, well, if you go to Universal and you want to use their express type pass situation, it's a lot more expensive. It's like hundreds a day, and that's true. But the difference is you get to use it. It's pretty much like the Premier Pass, where you get to use it on everything. Yeah. It wasn't, they didn't do per ride or limited to 3. It was always more, but you got to use it on everything, and they were doing it before Disney was. So yes, Universal can be overpriced and can do that too, but a lot of times you'll see the buy 2 days, get 2 days free situation, and they do all kinds of big deals. It's just more affordable for people. And if people are going to make one trip, they're going to go to Universal over Disney. It is what it is, because they're not, Universal is going to destroy, Epic Universe is going to destroy Disney.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're going to run, I believe we're recording this before the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to run a new spot for the
Epic
Super
Universe?
Bowl.
Yeah, I believe so.
And that's what the kids are going to want. They're going to be like, oh my God, it's Nintendo.
That's what my family wants.
Yeah.
So, that's more for, you want to go for Dark Universe, but yeah.
I want Dark Universe. Yeah, I think it looks really cool.
So, we're going to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.